Hey folks, welcome to today's mini booth gathering. It's good to be with you. Today we're going to go on a little bit of an exploration of the depths of Advent and the sort of the travails of waiting and a consideration of not giving up under those circumstances. Jessica's going to be along in just a moment with some music and then we'll dive in together. Here's Jess. Thanks, Jessica. So I had a bit of a strange encounter with my garbage can a couple of weeks ago. This is a suburban garbage can story. We have a longish driveway and have to wheel the garbage out to the curb for pickup by a machine. And it's a far enough journey out to the end of the driveway and back that before I bring the garbage can back, I always stop to check and make sure that it's empty. And it always is, a fairly predictable thing in an unpredictable world. But this particular week, I flipped open the lid and it wasn't empty. Most of the trash was gone, but there was this one thing in there. And when I first looked at it, I thought, like, what is this? It kind of looked like a cape. And my first thought, honestly, my imagination, who can explain? My first thought was like some superhero was running away, had to ditch their cape, opened the lid, slam dunked it in there, closed it, kept on trucking. And then as I pulled it up, of course, I could see it was not, in fact, a cape. It was a skirt. It was a tree skirt, a Christmas tree skirt. Well, the first thought that came to my mind when I could see what it was a sad one. It was like, oh, somebody gave up on Christmas, or at least on Santa Claus. And then the second thought was, well, yeah, maybe this year was just too much for them to, still believe. Personally, I think that would be understandable. This feels like a year in which there has been quite a string of reasons for giving up or for losing hope. If we just go with the facts, it might even seem like the kind of year in which it would be more rational to give up hope than it is to retain it. But hope is a curious thing. It doesn't always behave rationally. To borrow an idea from the sort of fringes of science, hope might be the kind of thing that lives beyond the event horizon. It functions somewhere that our instruments can't measure, and our experience, our comprehension and apprehension can't quite get a full grip on. That is one of the reasons why, of all the stories that surround the pending birth of Jesus, I keep getting drawn back to the Magi. Now, if you're somebody that pays attention to the liturgical year, to the liturgical calendar, you might think, Tim, you're getting ahead of the story because the arrival of the Magi is a post-baby story. Those Persian princes don't show up until after Jesus is born. So why are we talking about this here in the depths of Advent? Well, that's all true. But them showing up isn't the part of the story that I find most intriguing. The part that fascinates me is the part where they see something in the sky, not something we would probably think of as data these days, and they set off on what may well have been a year or two long journey, headed who knows where under less than luxurious circumstances, traveling in the dark, or at least finding their directions by the kind of things you can only see in the dark, sleeping in the sand, playing politics with their lives with tyrannical, narcissistic despots, interpreting dreams for clues, and they're hoping for what? They're for an encounter with a baby that hasn't been born yet? It's a crazy story. What do you imagine would get these folks out of bed every evening and back on their camel to head in some vague direction where they might find a Jewish baby that has the potential to be the king of the Jews? Like, that's a big target. And in the end, when they get home, what are they going to tell people? Yep, we had this vision, we had this hope, and we didn't quit. And what we found was a little kid from a poor family living in obscurity in a place that you will never visit, but something told us that this kid was a game changer, so it was worth the trials and the tribulations and the years of our lives and leaving behind a bunch of expensive stuff that would have made the journey home a lot more comfortable, and we're glad we didn't give up. Is that what they're going to say to people? See what I mean? Hope isn't always a reasonable thing. Keeping on believing doesn't always match the circumstances. The entire story that Christianity celebrates at Christmas is full of zany stuff like that. It's also full of hope. So from this vantage point, headed into the deep of winter, like our vantage point right now, today, headed into the deep of winter, hanging in there in the depths of Advent, I just want to take a moment to say, don't give up. Or to mess with a sports idiom and get back to our garbage can story, don't throw in the tree skirt. Or, to use the words offered in the Gospel of Luke, following a grim list of difficulties that includes epidemics, by enduring all of these things, you will find not loss, but gain, not death, but authentic life. And, since we won't see one another until the new year, I want to wish you all peace and joy, even in the midst of great challenges, as you celebrate Christmas in whatever ways you are able. Peace to you. We'll chat again soon. Bye for now.